The US dollar is backing off after 3 straight days of gains. At the start of this week, we saw some nice rallies in the greenback because investors were optimistic about the U.S. budget negotiations in Congress, as well as U.S.-China trade talks. Today, we did have some developments on that end, but the reason why the greenback pulled back was because retail sales dropped by the largest amount in a decade, which is a very significant decline, and indicates that even though the shutdown did not happen until January, December caused investors ready to cut back in December as oil prices and gas prices fell, and investors were just kind of nervous about the implications of the sell-off in the equity market. So that caused investors to offload some of their long U.S. dollar positions on the fear that the Federal Reserve's warnings are coming to fruition, which is that even though the labor market is strong, growth in general seems to be softening, and that kind of reduces the need for additional immediate easing. We did see the U.S. dollar fall against the Japanese yen in particular, even though Japanese GDP numbers were softer as well. I think investors are just looking at this as if things are looking grimmer in the U.S. than Japan, who's just kind of stayed the course of slower growth. Everyone is kind of, taking a focus on U.S.-China trade talks because that's really going to determine where the greenback is headed next. Towards the end of the day, we did have an announcement from the White House that the president plans to sign this funding agreement. But he's also going to be declaring a national state of emergency in order to tap some of those funds, some of the funds allocated to that in order to build his border wall. This is going to create a significant amount of resistance in Congress that could lead to lawsuits about whether the president is overreaching, and all of that could restore the uncertainty in the markets and deter investors from buying U.S. dollars. But this is something that has been playing out in Washington for some time. I think what is really going to be important to the outlook for the dollar is how U.S.-China trade talks go, and it seems like the president is amenable to extending the March 1st deadline. And if that's true, I think that would represent progress in U.S.-Chinese relations, as well as give investors continued hope that perhaps the last round of tariffs may not be imposed. And if that's the case, that could very much extend the risk rally that we've seen in currencies and also lead the U.S. dollar higher against the Japanese yen. So, the big stories that have basically captured our attention throughout the year continue to unfold, and right now they're unfolding positively. So even though we've got a bit of a pullback as a result of data on Thursday, I think that if we do get some good news on China, the greenback could resume its rise.